Welcome to this deep dive into a 2026 market analysis of the domestic wireless router market. Our mission today, helping you figure out the absolute best router for your home in a landscape that has, quite frankly, become a total minefield. Okay, let's unpack this because we are looking at the massive tech leap to Wi-Fi 7.
Right, it's a huge shift.
Yeah, and the biggest game changer isn't just raw speed. It's a feature called multi-link operation, or MLO. Think of MLO like your data driving on a multi-lane highway. In the past, your data had to pick a lane and stay there. But now, if the 6 gigahertz lane suddenly gets clogged by interference from your neighbor, your router instantly swerves your data over to the 5 gigahertz lane without even tapping the brakes.
Exactly. The connection just doesn't drop. And what's fascinating here is how Wi-Fi 7 handles the data itself. The sources highlight wider 320 megahertz channels and something called 4096 QAM modulation, which sounds like total alphabet soup.
Oh, absolutely. What does that even mean?
Right. Well, sticking with your highway analogy, the 320 megahertz channels are basically widening that data highway from 2 lanes to 4. And the 4096 QAM modulation, that's like packing the cargo trucks on that highway much more densely. So each single truck carries significantly more data.
Wow. Okay. So we're talking about incredibly efficient spectrum management.
We really are. But, and this is the massive narrative pivot for 2026, raw speed and specs are no longer the defining metric for what makes a router the best buy. I mean, the entire landscape shifts when we look at the March 23, 2026 FCC directive.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because I'm honestly struggling to connect the dots here. Wait, so geopolitics is actually crashing our home Wi-Fi hardware choices?
It's a great question. According to the Homeland Security reports provided in our sources, foreign-produced routers have identified vulnerabilities in their supply chains. So the government's response, whether you agree with the geopolitical maneuvering or not, is a sweeping update to the FCC and Department of War's covered list. Essentially, foreign-manufactured routers face a ban on future authorizations.
Which sounds intense.
Yeah. But now, the router currently sitting in your house is still totally legal to use. The critical issue for consumers, though, is the impending patching cliff.
The patching cliff.
Yeah. By March 1st, 2027, major foreign manufactured brands like Asus and TP-Link could legally lose their ability to push crucial firmware updates to users in the U.S.
And that's where the real danger lies, right?
Yeah.
Because a router isn't just a static piece of hardware. Hackers are constantly finding new digital backdoors into router software.
Oh, constantly.
So a firmware patch is essentially the manufacturer stepping in and slamming that backdoor shut. If you lose access to those patches, you are permanently leaving your digital front door unlocked.
Precisely. A router that can't receive security patches against emerging state-sponsored threats, like the Volt Typhoon network intrusions mentioned in the research, well, it instantly goes from being a lightning-fast piece of hardware to a massive cybersecurity liability.
So what does this all mean? Because this connects directly to your wallet and the total cost of ownership, the TCO. Looking at the numbers here. And Netgear wants around $500 for their FCC-exempt RS700S, plus another $100 a year for their Armor security subscription.
Right. It's a hefty price tag.
Yeah. Meanwhile, a brand like Asus gives you commercial-grade security for free for the lifetime of the device. Why on earth would you pay that massive Netgear premium?
Well, because you're essentially buying regulatory insurance.
Wow.
You're completely right that Asus offers massive lifetime savings and top-tier tech, but it currently sits under a very heavy regulatory shadow. If you want the strategic, future-proof safe bet right now, the Netgear R700S is it.
Got it. Because its FCC exemption guarantees updates through at least late 2027.
Exactly. But, for remote workers demanding 0 dropped frames on video calls, the Amazon Aero Pro 7 Mesh is the exempted stability champion.
Oh, interesting, because it sidesteps the ban entirely.
It does. And on the flip side, if we're talking absolute value, the TP-Link BE9700 is a $200 powerhouse. But buying it means you are actively betting that their massive new U.S. manufacturing investment will successfully secure them a future exemption before that patching cliff hits.
Wow. It really redefines what we are shopping for. Buying a router in 2026 isn't just about the radio inside the plastic box anymore,
Yeah.
You are investing in the regulatory survival of the software that governs it.
It is. And if we zoom out to the bigger picture, this leaves us with a pretty alarming thought to mull over. If that March 2027 patching cliff hits without exemptions for major brands, what happens to the millions of perfectly functioning but suddenly unsupported routers currently sitting in homes? Will this trigger an unprecedented e-waste crisis, or are we going to see the rise of a massive, highly insecure secondary market?